Good afternoon, real estate professionals. Welcome to the agent training webinar class on behalf of the Guaranteed Rate Companies. I am Kurt Klaus. We do these Wednesday webinars covering all of the tools and products and programs that we here at the Guaranteed Rate Companies have for our real estate referral partners. So thank you for taking the time to join today's webinar. I'm excited. The topic today came from agents. We love feedback from agents. You can always email us at agent@rate.com. But this topic came from you. We had tons of requests looking for help to shoot your own video home tours. Obviously, even before the pandemic, lots of consumers, people are way more likely to list with a realtor that uses video. And I saw a stat that said only like 10 or 15% of agents are using video effectively. So especially in today's world with the social distancing, it is even more important to be able to give people a look at your listings without being in the property themselves. So people can view these anytime. You're getting more visibility for your listings, and people can check out the property safely, both for the buyers and the sellers. So there's been a huge demand in these 3D tours and digital lockboxes, and people are paying for robots or companies or professionals to capture these. But we thought we'd go over how you can do this yourself with simply just with your phone. If Oscar-winning directors can shoot movies using their smartphones, you can make great home video tours just with your phone. So excited to cover this. It's also a great way to promote yourself, not only feature your property, but get some of your own personality and your own branding and get some exposure for yourself to be in these videos. So great opportunity. So today we're gonna cover the steps and walk you through how you can start doing these yourself. If you've never done it before, this will give you a good idea how to start doing them. We want you to improve yours if you're already doing them, but just lots of tips. So with me today is the director of our video production at the Guaranteed Rate Companies, John Cole. John has been shooting and editing videos for about 20 years. I know John well, great friend, great guy. He has been with the Guaranteed Rate Companies for over 3 years, and he is a crucial role in our video production team. So to disclose, he doesn't do the home video tour specifically, but he does all kinds of huge videos, big and small, and John is going to share his expertise with us. Hello, John, are you on?
Hey, Kurt, thanks for having me. Hopefully I'm able to give some helpful tips today.
Super excited, appreciate your time. Today, what we're gonna cover to help you do these yourself is how to put together a simple plan. John will go over some of his tips and tricks to shoot and capture these videos, go into editing, other equipment and resources that you need, and then we'll take a peek at an actual example of a home video. Please ask your questions. There is a chat box in your GoToWebinar. We do these live so we can field questions from all of you. So please fire your questions off. We'll get to those at the end. And take notes. I know shooting a video is a complicated process. We're going to scratch the surface, but take notes. And again, we'd love to hear from you later. So John, again, thanks for your time. I want to know exactly how you would discuss tackling a home video tour with your phone for someone that is not a pro.
Totally. So first thing I'd say is video can appear to be very complicated, and I would tell people to try to focus on keeping things simple. A simple formula that I think would work for the majority of people is creating these videos, starting out with a introducing yourself in the home, showing the best locations of the home, highlighting the best features of the home, whether it's the location or the schools in the district, it could be the parking or just the history of the home. And then I would just simply end with a call to action with how people can reach out to you for the next steps. And I think that simple formula on its own is going to do really well for most people. In
Yeah,
regards to the best time of day, um, really most any time should be fine. The biggest thing I would be mindful of with that is um, with the outside of the home, earlier in the morning or later in the evening will probably be better. Um, I would just try to show a video clip of the outside of the home where the lighting looks the best. So maybe that is earlier in the day, or maybe that's later in the day. Um, but
yeah, I know there's apps that will show where the sun is at certain times of day. So your initial establishing shot is in full light, and obviously picking a sunny day is going to make these look better. Also, you
totally.
mentioned neighborhoods. I've seen some really, a little more advanced, but I've seen some really good video tours that even include a little clip of the neighborhood or Main Street or the shopping area. So
Yep,
sell,
for sure.
sell the
Even just
neighborhood.
like yeah, or just even like a drone shot of the area. If that's something that people are able to add to their videos, I think it's just gonna make people appreciate the content that much better.
Yep. Yeah. So like anything, have a good plan. So would you recommend actually like mapping out a route as how you're going to go through the home, or a little shot list, or a script?
I would probably focus on basically what are the best locations that you want to feature, as well as just like the best features about the home. Um, whether it's natural light or whatever, I would try to kind of know those main talking points prior to going into the shoot. One of the nice things with editing is obviously you can change the order of the shots after the fact. So, but the more that you can plan it out, the better the video should turn out.
Yeah, and you, the agent, know the best features of the home, whether you're going to be talking to someone about the home on the phone or walking through the home with them. It's using your same features and selling points to put together in your plan.
Hmm.
So very good. Now, actually getting in and doing this, probably two ways to do it on your own and just do the walkthrough tour, or if you had someone with you, a great opportunity to get in front of the camera too and give a tour with you guiding it.
For sure. Yeah, so with the shooting tips, obviously the first thing is you want to stage the property as you normally would. I would turn on the majority of the lights. If there are darker spaces, I would consider using candles to brighten up those spaces. One big thing for people to be mindful of is as far as if you're going to shoot vertically or horizontal, I personally think that either is fine, but one thing I strongly recommend is not shooting both. So if you're going to shoot vertical, shoot everything vertical. If you're going to shoot horizontal, shoot everything horizontal. I do think if you decide to shoot vertically, spaces will look bigger because essentially if you do a wide horizontal shot, it's going to show more of the space opposed to if it's vertical, it makes the space so big that you have to physically turn to see the whole space. But again, it's up to most people whether they do it vertically or horizontal. But again, don't shoot both. Stick with one view.
Yeah, good point. So if you're walking down a hallway, for example, obviously to shoot it vertically, but if you're walking into a main room horizontally, so that's a call you'll have to make at the very beginning.
Yep. On a similar note, as far as the lenses you could use, I would either use the standard lens or the wide angle lens if you have that as an option. With the iPhone that I have, it's comes with 3 lenses, and the standard will work for the majority of it, but the wider lens is definitely a good option, especially for a smaller space like a bathroom. It's just going to make the space look bigger.
Yeah, and getting back to lighting, I know it seems obvious, but a small thing like that, and when you think of people who take bad pictures or bad videos where they're shooting into a window or shooting into the sunlight,
Yep.
it's going to change the video 100% to know where the light source is coming from.
Hmm. And that's another good point, Kurt. If you are in a space, but maybe the sun's blasting from the outside and it's just not making the visual of the living room or whatever the room is, it's not looking great. I would recommend waiting it out waiting for the lighting to be better, maybe just coming back, because I do think that if the visual is blown out, it's not going to look as good as it should.
And have you used candles before in a super dark room or in low light in video that comes out good?
It will make a difference.
Yeah.
The majority of homes should be fine. If there are darker spaces, like if there's a gloomy, storage unit or a basement, I probably wouldn't show it at all in this type of a video. But if there is a space that looks really nice, but there's darker areas to it, a candle will definitely help just brighten it up a little bit.
Right. And then the most important thing here is probably the use of a stabilizer. Tell us
Yep.
what you use and how you would go through the house.
For sure. So I think that a stabilizer is not necessary, but I do think that it helps a lot. It just makes the visual look a lot more polished, and visually attractive. So if it's possible, I would definitely recommend people use a stabilizer, especially like now, like they're so inexpensive. Like they're like $119 for ones that work really great. So you might as well, in my opinion.
Yeah, and I have one of these. So the stabilizer is a handheld device that you mount your camera onto,
Yeah.
and to, visually you're gliding through the house. I've seen lots of home tours where the person's walking with the phone and it's like being on a carnival ride. It's so jerky and bumpy, and it spins. It's almost hard to watch.
Yeah.
But that the cheap stabilizer, and we can talk about options later, will make this look
For sure.
so professional, and night and day from one that's obvious someone's just walking through with their phone.
Yep. The other tip that I have with shooting is try. I would do this prior to start shooting. Is I would try to find like the optimal viewing spot per room. And once you have that spot, just be mindful of it, because that's where you want to shoot the video from. I'd be mindful of the audio. I would turn off the AC, the heat, if there's music going on, the TV's on, if there's laundry, turn all that stuff off. If you hear a lawnmower and you really want to do an outside shot, you could still shoot that intro shot of the outside with you speaking. But if it's possible, either try to wait it out or maybe just ask your neighbor for like 5 minutes.
Yeah, absolutely. In audio, do you recommend an additional mic, or are you just shooting this with the microphone on your phone?
Most cameras will have good microphones. There are adapters, but for what this is, I think that what people have with their phones should work fine. But there's definitely options. But again, if I were doing it, the microphone on the phone is fine.
Fine, right on.
That being
Different
said,
style.
if you do decide to record with the microphone on your phone, figure out where the microphone is. Like I know that I've been like FaceTiming with my dad before, and he's like, I can't hear you, and then I realize I have my thumb over the microphone. So I would figure out where the microphone is on your phone.
Great point. And then the types of the shots, the motion and the pans and tilts for different size rooms.
Yeah, totally. Like shots with movement are awesome. Like you can, just stand there and hold the camera still, but when you add just a little bit of movement to the shots, whether it's, a pan or a tilt, if you push in or you push out, it just really adds to the overall quality. And it's something that's so easily achieved by just, being mindful of doing those things.
Yeah, I've even seen people add a static photo, but to even put motion into the photo or have it, zoom in or zoom out to keep the whole video more interesting than just static pictures.
Yeah, totally.
Great. Anything else on shooting? So it's with stabilizer, setting your route, and actually tiptoeing or walking through the home, hitting your spots in each room, and,
Yeah.
and covering. Will you shoot additional footage that you will edit later, or are you pretty much trying to nail this on a walkthrough and see what happens?
I mean, I would try to nail everything while I'm there. If I'm shooting in a certain room, I would, once I find like the optimal, like kind of spot that presents the room in a good way, I would definitely shoot that. But if there's another angle that you think might work, I would shoot that as well, and then figure out in post when you're editing this together, like which one works better, because you'll be able to tell much better at that point when you're editing it.
Yeah, and speaking of editing, that the magic is all in editing. I know this can be intimidating for someone that's never done it, but speaking over the past years, it's like anything else. It's just starting, learning, and diving in. It's like when you first got your phone, just trying to use some of these apps. So talk us through the editing process and how you tackle that.
Yeah, for sure. One of the biggest things is just, again, keeping things simple. Just because you shoot something does not mean that you have to use it. I know that's especially hard for people that begin editing for the first time, where if they shoot something, they think it should go into it, but that's not the case. If something works, great. If it doesn't, don't use it. A lot of times, I'll use, for this type of thing, I would imagine you'd use 5, maybe 10% of what you actually shoot, and that's fine. The video is going to be better that way. If I showed you 100% of what I shot, people would get bored and they'd stop watching. But the better 5-10% of all that footage is going to make a better video.
And we're looking for a couple minutes of really strong stuff. We're not making 10-minute movies here.
Totally.
And so those apps, those are some free app options there on the.
Yeah. So there's basically, for whatever your device is, there's free tools out there. If you have an iPhone, you've got iMovie, but there's other apps that are out there that might cost a little bit more, but they'd have a few more features. The majority of what people will be doing with editing is you put your clip on there, you cut it up and you move things around, you add transitions, you add a song. Most every editing software or app out there can do that. So some editing platforms will give you, free music with it. But generally speaking, the majority of any existing editing software that's out there only exists because it can do the basics. Really, most people just need the basics.
Yeah, I've tried the Adobe Premiere Rush, and after playing around with it for a little while, it was pretty intuitive and easy to figure out.
Yeah,
and
it's fun. Once you get past the learning curve of okay, this is how I add in the footage, this is how I, put it on the timeline, this is how I splice things, this is where I can, do a dissolve. Once you kind of figure out all those things, it's a lot of fun. So even taking an hour or 2 hours to kind of just play around with any editing software tool, it gets really fun. So
yeah, the fades, the spin outs, the different cuts. Great. So video's looking good. Now speak on adding some audio or music or even some text to these too. How would you do that?
Yeah, I definitely recommend people try to use music. I would say when there is music, don't have it overpower what you're saying. Think of the music as more of an accent piece rather than the main focal point. So if the music's too loud, people will be distracted by it. But if it's softer, it'll just kind of add to the vibe that you want people to be feeling as they're watching the video.
Yeah,
Make sure that there aren't any lyrics with this song because that will be incredibly distracting, especially when you are speaking. Don't use a song that you don't have the rights to.
Yeah, where do you get your music? Where do you source the music?
So with a lot of the tools like iMovie has songs that you can use for free that they provide, or you could use there are websites out there that have a huge variety of songs that are as cheap as $17 a month, and you can use whatever you want, which I highly recommend people doing.
All right,
because there's going to be better options there.
Yeah, and then even adding in, I know the drone, I know you're a professional drone driver, and I know that's a big thing now. Obviously, a whole different webinar. My nephew has a drone, and he was able to add some super cool drone shots to a Mother's Day video we made. So how about layering in other videos or other pictures to this, or tips on a drone video if your son or someone has access to that? That's a great establishing shot.
Oh, for sure. If you know a person with a drone, they want excuses to use it. So don't even think there's two types of people. This is an opportunity for you to get a drone. And then you can deduct it on your taxes. And they're a lot of fun. If you're a person that doesn't want anything to do with it, there's so many people out there that have a drone that would love to have an excuse to fly it.
Yeah, and a simple 5-second
Yep,
establishing shot from above or a backyard or a driveway or a
yep,
fly-in is a way to really make these super pro.
totally, totally.
And then I see a personality down there. That's, again, I know some people are intimidated with doing these, but this is a great chance to add your personality to your listing. Little things like not saying this is the kitchen. You can say this could be your kitchen. Like make it about the experience of buying the home. Say this is a nook where you could sit and read and check out the view of your backyard, or this balcony is a great place to enjoy your coffee. So tell a story with these. Don't just say here's the fridge. The same things that make an in-person showing good is exact same narration in these videos.
Totally. Yeah, have fun with this. Like, if you're having fun while you're doing this, it's going to show. If you're doing this, as a chore, more than likely, it's going to look like you're doing something you don't want to be doing. So have fun with it.
Yeah,
Video is
and
a
what
lot of fun.
yeah,
So,
and it's a great way, like I said at the beginning, to give yourself exposure. You make a short video of a for sale property and send it out to the whole neighborhood. Everyone is going to want to know what the inside of that house looks like. And it's your chance to get your personality and your face in front of those people for a couple minutes to
yep,
know that you're the realtor in the area. So a
totally.
huge opportunity, not just for the buyers, but for others. A good chance for you to brand yourself.
Yep. The last thing that I would add to this section is when you do make your final video, I would do a little test drive with it. Show it to some of your friends prior to posting, see what they think. More than like, I still do that. I feel bad for my wife because I still like will show her a lot of the videos that I'm doing. Because when you are editing something, you become very familiar with it. So to have a fresh pair of eyes on it, they'll usually say something that you just totally forgot about or didn't, stick out to you because you're so familiar with it. So I do recommend doing that as well. Is just showing it to
Well,
a friend, be like, hey, what do you think about this? And
yeah,
if they have good feedback, I'd listen to it.
screening, right. Some gear and resources that you use on this page.
Yeah. So again, like I would definitely use a stabilizer for this type of thing. They're not expensive. They will make all your videos look better. Again, another great website is Artist.io, where you can get legal music. It's only $17 a month for as much music as you want. It's like, it's not a lot. As far as the editing software, again, there's a lot of good options out there. I just edited on my phone with iMovie like 2 months ago for the first time, and it was great. It did everything I needed to do. Again, like I would Google best editing software for whatever your device is, and you're gonna get some great, options. Not only that, there's gonna be videos of people that are gonna take you step by step. Like if we were to talk about editing in software, that would be like a whole different session. So I don't mean to like pass this off, but if you Google best editing software for whatever your device is, put the name of your device in there, there's going to be people walking you through all that stuff. There's so many videos of people walking through all that stuff. Another thing that I would recommend people is if you have a phone that doesn't have a wider angle lens, especially the wider angle lens. The one thing that I really like about the iPhone Pro that I have is that it has the 3 lenses on it. It's got like the telephoto, it's got the standard, and then the wide. If you don't have a wide lens on your phone, I highly recommend buying a lens adapter that will go on top of your phone on the lens, and it's just going to make spaces look bigger.
Great. Anything else gear wise? Let's take a look at a actual example of a video. Maybe we can have you talk us through this. Give us your take on an actual live home tour video. There we go.
Cool. So yeah, it's just again like it has this very subtle movement to it. Right now, he's pushing into these shots. It's just making the video more engaging. It's nothing crazy. Um, and again, with this video that he's doing right here, there's kind of two ways doing it. If you have an assistant that can help you out, I think it's a great way to create these videos. It kind of puts you more in your element where you're speaking to the camera as a person, but you're talking about the space.
Yeah, and here you can see no shot is totally still. There's motion in every single look at every single room.
Yeah. And again, don't go crazy with the movements. A little bit goes a long way.
Yeah, like I said, some of the other ones was like a carnival ride. It was just tough to watch, but the slow pan just makes it look like I'm
Yeah.
walking into that bathroom right there. It's
It
great.
makes it look more elegant. It makes it, yeah. And again, like this, if you have this option where you can have an assistant kind of record you in the home and it puts you more in your element, I think that's a great option. But you can, again, you can do this on your own. And I would definitely end with, definitely whether, more if you're doing this on your own, because if you're doing it on your own, show yourself, introducing yourself in the home. And then I would definitely end, with you kind of signing off saying, thanks for watching. If you were interested, feel free to reach out. And then I'd give your contact information.
Yeah, another great spot to add your branding and add your personality. Let me get to a couple questions that have rolled in, John.
Okay.
What do you recommend to capture my home with a tiny bathroom, tiny bedrooms? You mentioned earlier, you did mention the fisheye lens, but are there any tricks, or would you just avoid a super small space that might take away from the entire video?
Great question. Great point. I would try to shoot it. The wide lens will definitely help make the space look bigger. This is another example. If you're shooting like a condo and it's just a smaller space, I would probably shoot that video in a vertical way. Shooting vertical in a small hallway in a small bathroom, it's going to make the space look bigger, opposed to shooting it horizontally.
Yeah, another one. John, are there any general rules to huge open great rooms, or maybe a massive backyard, big spaces? How would you tackle that?
I mean, again, if a space is big, that just makes it easier for you. So again, regardless to if I knew that I was going to be doing a space that was bigger, I'd probably, again, I'd do the opposite. I would shoot horizontally. I would, walk around, show the space, but the bigger the space, the easier it's going to be to make it look good, because inevitably people want bigger spaces.
Very good. One more. What's the difference between a gimbal and a stabilizer, and what stabilizer features should I be looking for?
So gimbals or stabilizers essentially just take the shake that you would normally have with holding it with your hand. Your hand will have a shake when you record video with it. A stabilizer or gimbal, that will smooth it out. It'll smooth out everything. It'll make it, again, look more elegant, much more polished. I highly recommend it. It's not that expensive. The one that I gave you, you can easily shoot that horizontally or vertical. That's the one thing that I would recommend you verify that the device does, is that it gives you the option of shooting horizontally or vertically.
And I know some of those handhelds too will have like a button to pan or something you can even throw on a tripod and jump in front of the camera for the start or the finish of this.
Yep.
One more. I know we're going over, but thanks for the questions. Any other tutorials or videos or sources where I can go to learn? I think start watching them. The more good ones you watch, the more you know what you're trying to duplicate. But we got a viewer just wanting to know, John, if you have any educational sites that have been helpful to you.
No, in general, there's just so much good content as
everyone out there. Please, we love your feedback. That's why we brought today's topic to you. You can email us at agent@rate.com, and we continue to work on tools and resources for our Realtor Referral Partners. Our company was built on our relationships with all of you. We thank you for your time today. John, appreciate your time. Do you have anything else in closing to add to our agents that are ready to go out and do one of these themselves or improve the ones they're doing?
For sure. Two quick things. I would be, I'd say to people again, keep it simple. A simple formula. If you're doing this all by yourself, start the video out with you introducing yourself in the home, show the best locations of the home, highlight the best features of the home, and then end with a simple call to action with how people can reach out to you for the next steps. The other biggest thing I want people to take away from this is like a video. These types of videos aren't about showing all the detail. These videos are about creating something short and sweet. You want a video that will hook people into wanting to know more about the space itself through you. The best content creators out there, they're creating engaging content that are, around a minute. Not saying you guys need to be aiming to do a minute, but I do want to reiterate, shorter is better.
Well said. Appreciate it. Thank you, everyone. Big group. Appreciate everyone taking the time to join the webinar. Everybody be well and have a great day. Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks, guys.